Good evening, folks. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for attending our March, what's the 28th, I believe. 25th.
Not yet.
Attendance, John Hodge is here.
Joe Bailey here.
Jim now here.
Okay. First item, I'll be very careful about the wording here, all right? First item on the agenda is swearing in of a new officer. Okay, swearing in.
His family's been here.
Not the, now, do we need a brief explanation of why we're getting another officer? Or
You guys also have to vote if you want to hire him too.
But one is leaving, one's coming on.
You ready for help?
Okay. Morning, have some more seats here. All right, Chief, would you present some basic information so the board can vote, and then we can have them sworn in? Please.
Mr. Owen here, been a police officer for a while. The reason he's looking to hire him is Captain Volbell retired. Actually, January 1st, he's been working in a part-time capacity, working full-time hours until we were able to find a good person to take his position. Well, we found Mr. Owen here, who's interested in the position. He's a great guy, passive background, highly recommended by a lot of good people. So, as soon as he comes on full-time and he's ready to go on his own, Captain Volbell's going to step down to a part-time position and just fill some details and some shifts when we need him.
Questions for anybody? Good. As is the custom, the police chief does all the interviewing and then makes the recommendation to the board. The board has the final say. All right. Is there a motion to
I make a motion that we allow the town to hire Sean Owens as a new police officer, full-time position.
All right. Is there a second? All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Congratulations. You're on.
Now you get swearing.
Right. Now the swearing in ceremony. All right. So
Who's doing it?
Oh.
You do it.
Well, you got the short. All right.
That doesn't make no difference.
Here you go.
Okay.
Here's your.
Okay. Well, let's turn around so we can both face everybody. Okay. I'll do some reading and you'll repeat after me, please. I, and then state your name.
I, Kenneth S. Owen,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
and affirm
and
affirm
affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as a full-time police officer
as a full-time police officer
for the town of Middleton,
for the town of Middleton,
New Hampshire,
New Hampshire,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God.
This I do under
This I do under
the pains and penalties of perjury.
the pains
All
and
right.
penalties of perjury.
Congratulations.
Thank
you.
you.
Chief, would you like to- Wait a minute, let's put this down. At some point you'll have to sign it. Okay? Let's turn it. Okay? All right? Good. Thank you.
You guys are willing to stick around, but you're also willing to bail out of here.
I think people have to sign.
Does he have to sign that, Laura?
Yes, he signs the top and dates it. Yep. First line and they date it. And I'll notarize it later.
Sign and take, please. Sit if you'd like.
How you doing?
Hi, we're good.
Oh, you want a picture of the whole family too? Before we go?
That'd be great.
Yeah, by all means.
Phoenix?
I'm gonna guess.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Your youngest is gonna be over a year?
Yes.
Okay.
He's 13 months.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
That's it, right?
Okay, now I sign.
I'm ready to go. He's gonna have to move
Got
our
that
meeting
badge, I'm not
across
sorry.
the street there.
Just wanted to see the badge.
There we go.
So one before, so I guess I put my name here. Then does he take this with him?
No, we keep that.
Okay.
Yes. There we go. That's
Okay. What's that? You want some pictures before we go?
Do we have to discuss his rate of pay officially on the record, or is it just bring him in as what we bring him in as the new
Yeah,
officer?
just bring them in, we'll take care of that.
Perfect.
Good.
Just wanted to double check quick.
All right.
So about $12 an hour is good still?
Yeah, I think that's what
okay.
Overpaid again.
There you go, good girl.
Hey, you want pictures of everyone before we go? Together? Sure.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, good luck. Thank you. Absolutely, I'll take it. Okay, ready?
Oh, no.
No picture.
There you go.
Honest opinion.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'll do one more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Ground bus.
By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Owen, you're well on your way. You have 3, my wife and I have 6, so
Oh,
there's
dear.
room for growth.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
Okay, John, then
Patience.
Thank you.
so days.
Lizzie Scott.
Tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Wasting any time.
Good deal.
Thank you,
We don't need this.
That way. No, no.
There you go. I used to work up in Gallup for.
I got middle road.
Oh, good. Finley.
How you doing?
Farrell gas up there.
That's why you give me the
I'm
That's why you give me the look.
When I was little, he used to work up there.
Is he from Finley?
Yeah.
Mini parks?
Probably.
Old
A
time.
long time ago, but.
I'm not sure, it's just been a long time.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
We're gonna go right out that door.
And before we leave, maybe
Hi, Lonnie, get your.
keep watching.
Hi.
Thank you for keeping us safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Here.
You're all right, buddy.
Thank you.
For you folks that are standing, you're welcome to come in. We have some empty seats. Whatever you like. Okay?
Oh, not you.
I don't like that second row, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always have to.
Yes, yeah, we gotta break them up a little bit.
All right, next item is that 3 selectmen have to decide who's who. Our positions as chairman, vice chairman, and so forth ended at the end of the town meeting. We've all been elected. Jim will fill out a 1-year term and then that position will open up again. Joe has been elected, now you have 3 years ahead of you, and I have 2 years. So it's supposed to be 1 per year as this moves along, all right? But we need a chairman, vice chairman, and just a 3rd member. When things are going correctly, the newest person is usually just the member. The second one is vice chairman, and one is serving, if you will, the last of the terms is usually chairman. That's been changed in recent years with John Clary coming on board but leaving, John Mullen coming on board but leaving, Mike Schwartz was on board but did not win re-election, so things are mixed up a bit. What is your pleasure for this year? Anything? For chairman?
Go ahead, you be chairman, I got no problem with
You're
it.
in agreement? All right.
So I'll say vice chair,
You'll be vice chairman and you'll be.
and I'll give Jim a year or two to learn some stuff and get up to speed on stuff.
All right.
Does that work?
That works for me.
Besides
I wouldn't make him cherry from the get-go, you know,
Besides our regular duties, we all have collateral duties. I don't expect anybody to remember this, but we send representatives to various boards throughout the town government and also for the school. Okay? Planning board this year will be Joe Bailey again. School board, I'll serve as representative of the school board. Highway department will be Jim Knapp. Budget committee, Joe Bailey again. Zoning board, I'll go back on to the zoning board. Cemetery committee, remember, cemetery committee is in name only for this year because we're not sure what we're doing with the cemetery. We're not even sure we'll have a cemetery after next year, and if we do, we're not sure what type of cemetery we're gonna have, right? That's Jim Knapp. Joint Loss Management Committee, it's a safety committee that keeps track of all the safety items and concerns in the various buildings and departments. Yeah, that'll be myself. Fire department is Jim Knapp. Personnel policy, we have representatives from each of the major departments here in town. Joe Bailey again. Police department, Joe Bailey. Conservation committee, it's myself. All right, so if you're all in agreement, we'll move on from there. Comments from anybody? All right. Minutes from the last Board of Selectmen meeting, which was March 11th. I've seen it already, so if there's any comments or revisions to make, otherwise we can vote to accept it.
I'll make a motion that we, I've been on with them already, make a motion that we set the minutes for March 11th of 2019 as written.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second it.
All right, discussion from anyone? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great, opposed? Next item, please, an MS 232, which I hope is you, Laura.
Yeah,
Well, you don't know what
so you just need to sign, this is the stuff that was voted on the appropriations. Voted on this town meeting,
So this is the paperwork following the town meeting.
yeah,
All right.
part of it.
So you just put position.
While I'm finishing this, Laura, the MS 535,
This is the auditor's report from 2018's fiscal year.
how often are we audited?
Once a year. Well, except this year. It'll be
Why don't we do our own audits?
You don't let the fox in the hen house.
You just don't.
It would be inappropriate for us to audit ourselves.
Yes.
The whole idea is an independent party outside of us doing the auditing. Next is the audit commitment letter.
Okay,
What's
so,
this for?
you have to sign this, they're coming tomorrow to re-audit the tax collector since the position has been switching hands, they have to do a recommittal of the taxes. So just, John has to sign that, but he has the email from the auditor.
What are we doing
the 18 audit?
How do we do it? It's not finalized yet. That's just her financials to DRA. That's all that is.
So do we get charged for this second party? I'm assuming we get charged for this audit as well?
Yeah, it says in the email, $1,500 to $1,750 it'll cost us for the recommittal.
And that's because we changed tax collectors?
Yes.
It would just be Kathleen.
Right, no, right, so
No,
was
Janelle
that
has it.
typical whenever we change a tax collector, we would get another audit because someone different is coming in?
I think unless it's her deputy.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they do it because they did do it when Kathleen took over because she was already deputy
Okay.
tax collector.
I would remind everyone that there was a vote on the ballot to separate the two jobs. Had that passed, it would not have been effective until a year from now. It did not pass, so we will continue with the combined position of town clerk, tax collector for the foreseeable future. If it gets on the ballot again next year, it would still be a year before it would take effect.
So Janelle is gonna be doing both those
Yes.
positions? So should we get paid out of both those lines in the
Yes.
budget?
It'll go back to being one line.
Yeah.
It's one line.
Oh, okay.
It'll go back to the way it was before it was separated.
Okay, old business, Susan Potter.
I don't see that.
Here? Okay. Just for people's knowledge, she and I believe it was her husband were here talking about property that was in the family, got behind on the taxes. The father was ill, I believe he passed, and the mother, I believe is still alive, but in the nursing home, and they were trying to figure out how to get caught up with the taxes. There's not a lot of choices, and we were gonna make a final decision tonight, but we'll table that till she's here. So, as things stands right now, she still owes all the taxes that she owed 2 weeks ago when she talked, okay? Next, FEMA funds.
We just have to, I've scheduled a public hearing. We did receive the FEMA money, so you guys can see it's 16,000, I can't say that.
$16,915.
But you can't motion to accept it until we have a public hearing first.
Okay.
So, that's scheduled for the 8th at 6:30.
When did we need FEMA?
When did,
Election Day, 2018.
So,
There was a snowstorm.
was it 18 or 17? 18? It was a while ago.
Well, we had a storm on both of them, I think it was the 2018, okay? I don't wanna say the government moves slowly, but fortunately Rick Washburn kept track of how much salt was used, sand was used, fuel, trucks, overtime, how many personnel, and now it's a year later and we're getting $16,990 for one storm, and you know, the cleanup associated with it. We have how much set aside for natural or man-made disasters? 15,000 or thereabouts, okay? And I often make a joke that would buy water for one day for the town. And here it is, just a small snowstorm, life continued, no great destruction in town, and just that little bit of it was over 16,000. So the money we have saved up won't go very far.
That was pretty fast.
Yes. Okay. Rabies clinic, March 30th.
Yep, just be known, put it out there, people know.
Where's it gonna be, next to the old town hall?
It's at the fire department.
Fire department, okay.
What animals can you bring? Both
Cats
dogs and,
Yep, because they said all the animals are $20 each.
would that include things like unusual pets like a rabbit?
I don't
Can
think
rabbit
they
get
can-
rabies?
Any animal can get
They're
rabies.
wild.
Any mammal can get rabies.
Okay, all right. So, it's this Saturday, 9 to 12 at the firehouse, right?
Yep, and
bring
Janelle's
them all
open
along?
from 9 to 12
Oh,
for dog registration.
Can I bring a mother watch and get shot?
uh,
I was gonna make a comment like that, but I didn't.
all right. I've got one other item under old business. and then we'll move on to any new business that we have. Spoke today with John Mamone, our code enforcement officer, and Roger, make sure I say this correctly. AT&T company has hired Blue Sky Cell Tower Company to put the tower up.
Right.
AT&T came by to make sure they had the proper paperwork to put their equipment on the tower after the tower was built.
Right.
Okay, so that's been done. Things are moving along. Somebody said they saw parts of the tower coming into town. But Jim, you were there last week?
I saw a truck with the tower pieces, but I think they were lost. They went around the
1
loop
hour.
a few times.
When I talked to Sean, they weren't ready until after the frost was over, so.
There's two types of towers, and Jim, please correct me if I'm not right, because you have far more knowledge than I do. I imagine the tower being a tripod that has a big base and goes up to a point. Guy wires hold it in place. The other one is called a
Monopole.
How do they put that in?
It comes in sections. They'll do massive, maybe 20 feet square concrete, 3 or 4 feet thick. There's lag bolts. Lag bolts are probably 2.5 inch diameter. Bunch of them. Set the first section on with a crane, level it, and go around with a big pipe wrench and 10-foot piece of pipe, work them down. And there's a lot of them. I've done a ton of them. It's a bit. Then the other ones, they'll come in maybe 50 foot at a time. It depends on the situation. It's a slip fit is all it is. Slip them all together. As the wind hits the tower, it sort of settles down. So you always want it to be a little bit taller than spec because you're going to lose some. And it's all engineered in.
So someone doesn't have to stand up on the second section with a sledgehammer and tap it down? It
Just
just
hope not.
it goes down by itself?
But somebody's got to crawl up there,
Alright,
be tied off, and sort of guide it in. You got a crane, you got wind. It's not 100% perfect.
do these things have a ladder built into it? Starting 20 feet up?
There's pegs.
Oh,
And there's a
jeez.
safety line that they'll clip onto their harness. But I'm the electrician, Steve.
Why don't you check it out, Joe?
Anybody here ever climb a tower?
I'm not gonna do that.
It's part of the work? You did.
Yeah.
What he's saying is true? You
Oh, yeah.
climb right up the top of that?
Yeah.
That hard?
We've done them with helicopters, cranes.
Not, we climb. With the Coast Guard, we climb.
Well, thank you.
Okay, question on that.
Yes.
Has anybody reached out to Stratford County up, they'll put a repeater up there?
Not to my knowledge, but that might be worth.
If you wanna do that,
checking.
please start getting too far into this thing. 'Cause that was part of the contract, that we're gonna allow Stratford County,
Right.
if they wanted to do that, put a repeater up there. So,
AT&T, besides being its own communication company, is tied in, Roger, with FirstNet,
yeah.
which is a plan for New Hampshire to increase emergency response.
Throughout the United States,
Okay.
all our, throughout the whole thing.
So that's going up first. How many towers in New Hampshire are gonna have this FirstNet capability?
I don't know off the top. I know we're the first one to be built.
All right, I thought there was,
Quite a
Putting in
few.
something like predicted, another 780 new towers in New Hampshire alone.
well, but we're one of the first ones because you, and I think Tony was part of it, spent time working hard getting signatures saying that we need a tower in town. So, thank you for all that work.
I'd like to also commend the fact that all of our petitions wouldn't have done any good if the selectmen hadn't made sure that we had a place to put it in the first place.
Well,
But,
it's going up.
The FirstNet capability should be for, I would expect all of their towers, because it's a nationwide system.
Right.
So as far as which towers are going to have the FirstNet capability, I would think that they all would.
Okay. How do you know this is being worked on? But on Ridge Road, you know where the road is that goes in for the 5-acre lot belonging to the town? If you stand looking up that driveway, top right-hand corner is where the tower is gonna be. It's If you start seeing equipment there, you'll know that we've started. Okay. Roxanne, question? No, okay. All right, that's it for old business. New business, anyone here for a new business would like to talk about something, anything? Yes, sir.
I'd like to talk about the widening the fire department,
Okay.
so we don't have to build a thing for Rick out back.
Okay.
How much money do we have right now that's in the road part
The road,
for Rick, for the new building?
he has a budget to run his equipment and salary and so forth, and there's a 200,000 for paving.
Right, but how much do we have that we
Reserve.
In the
kinda
capital
snuck
reserve?
away for that new
The
building?
building fund itself is probably around 13.
Oh, yeah, for the highway, it's
13.
no more than 13,000. It
Now-
was more, but then we spent some on site development, and then we voted not to put the food,
10,000.
I think it was not 400,000, but only 10,000,
Right.
right? So-
Now, the last meeting I went to on the school board, I believe I was talking.
Budget committee.
Budget committee.
Last Monday.
They said you guys were kind of thinking about looking into that. Have you had a chance to look into widening the, now, we have to widen the fire department because we get no place to put the ambulance, right?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody go over there do measurements yet?
Not one, but about 3 of us have.
Yeah, I did too, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you know that, first of all, there's 2 separate funds, okay? There's capital reserve fund for the highway building, 13,000. There's a separate fund for the fire department addition. As a result of the vote, I think we added 10,000 to it, there's about 65,000 now.
Mhm.
So, how wide's the existing 3-door highway, fire department?
Right now,
Right.
it's 41 feet wide. No, 51 feet wide.
Okay, and it goes back 40 feet.
It goes back 40, but to the lot line with the setback of 20 feet,
Right,
from the corner of the building to the, say, the setback, we could put a 65-foot
Okay.
building in lengthwise.
right,
From the building over towards the town hall to the generator, because that's not really the building, but say to the
Right.
generator.
Yes.
If we came over another 20 feet for the setback, because we have what, 20-foot setback, right?
Yeah.
yes,
So that'd give us a 21-foot wide building, or say 20. So we could put a 60 by 20 building in there, which would give us the garage space, and then if we need place in the back side to put showers or water, or that would give us the extra space.
okay.
And we can go right off the roof and
Clearly,
come
you've
up
done some work.
and
Keep
go
going.
off the roof and go halfway up the other roof to
Right.
the existing building. That would give us our pitch for the snow.
Probably a 312 pitch or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry you weren't with some of the conversations that I had with Chief Bill Lawrence just before this meeting. Building Inspector John Mamone. Okay? Yes, you are right on. My idea isn't quite that big, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But go ahead. Question?
Is there any issue with the fire marshal regarding code for,
Yes. And no.
He's shaking his head no.
Well, no, you'll see them in.
okay,
You can put on an addition to the firehouse if the addition is less than 50% of the existing size building. You're not bound by any requirements. No new codes. If you go more than that, then you are required to include the most recent code requirements, like bathrooms, showers, maybe
Everything.
different electrical setup, okay? I've been talking about, Bill Lawrence talked about a 24 wide by 40 foot. I'm talking about 21 wide by 40 foot deep. The ambulance measures 9 feet wide, so you put a 12-foot door in,
Yeah.
okay? You have to have room for the doors to open.
What door's open?
The-
The roll-up door.
Right, but there are 2 doors on the ambulance.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to open those and still walk around it. The ambulance is 23 feet long.
Yeah.
So even with a 40-foot space going back, instead of your 60, just go back to the end of the existing building. There's room in back for what I call ambulance supplies that need to be in a clean environment and should be locked up. Andrew, am I correct that there's stuff there that is different than firefighting equipment and it really should be locked up, all right? There's room for all that. There is a concern about price. Remember I said 65,000. I've already looked into the possibility of a special town meeting to take some unused funds from last year's budget and apply it to give us a little more money for the addition. By state law, the only way you can get a special meeting is if it's an emergency or a crisis. For example, a police car catches on fire, totaled. We have no money to replace it. That's an emergency. Town of Henniker last year lost its entire highway garage with all the equipment in it. They had to have a special town meeting to appropriate funds for that.
Wouldn't the insurance cover all that?
Some, but not all. Okay. So, I feel we are somewhat limited in that I cannot, and by the way, you have to go to Superior Court to get this approved, or get 50% of the voters in town to ask for a special meeting, okay? Not much chance in any town of getting 50% of the people to agree on anything. But in order for a Superior Court judge to approve a special town meeting, there are demands that it be some sort of crisis or emergency. Without that, I think we are reasonably confined to the 65,000. That's why I'm trying to keep the size of it within reason to pay for it, yes.
Can't we just get all the figures all down, get everything out what we want, get all the drawings we want, figure out exactly how much it is, and just put it in for next year's town meeting? If you need a place to park the ambulance, you can park it in my place over here on 153.
Okay, thank you. I was hoping to get it done sooner, but
If we gotta go do that special stuff
Right.
and all that.
the point you bring up is a good one. I do not think that I, as chairman of the Board of Selectmen, did a good job of presenting information at the town meeting for that 1.7 million new highway garage. As a result, I took that off the consideration, okay? We did not have definite bids, we had no pictures, I think that was my fault. For this one, before any money is expended, I'd be looking for a list of specifications from John Mamone and any other builder that wants to tell me how to build an addition onto that firehouse. Then I'd send it out to bid. I would need at least 3 bids, 4 bids. I believe a job like that can be done by a local general contractor. I don't think we need a company that has 300 employees. I think that's a small enough job that a company, a general contractor from the area could do the work. I would want all that along with pictures before we decided to do anything. I'd also want to hold public hearings.
So you're saying a 40 by 20 building's okay, we don't have to go to the newest codes?
Right.
That's
And we
correct.
just add on to the building that's right there, just a slab, not a foundation in the
Right.
ground?
If we do, I'll use easier numbers for my simple mind. 50 by 40 is 2,000 square feet. If you did an addition, 20 wide, 40 deep, that's 800 square feet. 800 is less than half of 2,000. So, you're right, we would not need bathrooms. Are we being taped? The
Yes.
bathroom in the construction trailer that the fire department is using has been hooked into the septic system, not quite,
By code.
thank you, by code. I would eliminate the construction trailer and just have the 2 bathrooms in the town hall, which we just finished renovating, and make that accessible for the fire department.
Well, you can't do that because their clothes are
Okay.
tainted or whatever, you can't go
So
into
you're gonna
it.
bring all the hazardous whatever into a public building?
That was the reason why, when we were selected, was told we couldn't do that.
Right,
When I was selected. They could not come in with their fire gear on and go into that public building.
So I guess my comment would be is, and I understand that with given the constraint of the money that we have for expanding the building, we would wanna kinda stay within that. However, I don't think we should paint ourselves into the corner to say, just because we only have $65,000, this is what we can do with it. I think we need to take into consideration what needs to be done, or what should be done, especially like if you want to get rid of that trailer, you know, so we need to put in a bathroom and this and that, and say, okay, so we're gonna need more than the 65, but just so we don't get to the point where 2 years down the road, or 3 years down the road, we're like, well, we don't have enough space again, we don't have this, or whatever.
Yep.
And just to make sure that we kind of take it
65,000.
the whole perspective to say, this is really, long-term, this is what's gonna fit our needs, not necessarily say, we only have this amount, so we have to work with that. That's just my opinion.
I could also tell you, we had, I don't know what her name is, but when John Mullen comes back, you can ask him about the individual that came out who does the inspection on the fire things. We were forgiven not to put those blowers up on top of the, fire department to suck out anything while the trucks were doing. I think if you start playing around with that building, she's gonna come down here and tell you, you gotta put those things up, and they're expensive.
well,
Those
that
units
again
are,
Don't you
refers
open the
to
doors?
existing versus
Doesn't
Right.
count.
upgrading.
Doesn't count.
New code doesn't count.
I just
You
think
don't
as
have to go and
taxpayers,
do code.
you could get it through the taxpayers to spend the money for the fire station and forget the public works building that we do not need.
Well,
Because
I
if
think-
we try to spend that kind of money, people in this town are gonna go crazy. They would spend the money for the fire department to expand it. I really do.
The message I got as chairman of the Board of Selectmen from Saturday's town hall meeting is that we're not interested in a new highway garage.
That's right.
Okay, so an addition is a possibility.
And there's no money left to take out of there, and you can't put it over there.
No, there's none, all right, none left. Yes, sir.
So, having been involved with the fire department on an expansion in the past, a long time ago, it's gonna take a full year to develop this plan. It's not something you're gonna get done in 6 months. You're gonna want input from your fire department on what exactly they want, because, as Representative said, you don't wanna put something in there that is just a temporary fix. This is gonna be a long-term fix for this town. So, we need to do the right for the fire department, see what they actually want, and then attempt to fit that into what we have for the budget.
Joanne first.
If you're planning to replace build this addition to replace the trailer, is there any potential resale value for that trailer?
I already talked with Rick Washburn.
Have you been in there?
Yeah, not a lot, but yes, it could be sold as a construction site trailer where perhaps items are stored in it. The floor is soft in spaces. I'm reluctant to keep having people go in there. Someone could buy it and put a plywood floor down, not caring that it's not gonna be an office, just to reinforce the floor. But yeah, I am concerned about that place, and I don't wanna spend money on the construction trailer. I'd sooner get using the town hall until we can get whatever else we
So
want.
if you're going to replace that, then you definitely need some kind of laboratory facilities.
Well, I got it in the town hall in the short run.
you can't go in there.
Well,
when they're not
Well, they
fire.
can without bunker gear, they can run meetings and stuff in there, of course they can.
sure.
They can run their meetings, but they
Well, I
can't
don't
go
know.
in, but after a fire, they cannot go in.
Okay, I
with
think-
their-
How many fires we had this year?
But they don't,
Oh, I had a good one.
at the moment, they
They all
don't have a
went.
place to go in with a bunker guarantee.
But it's more than just fire. I can
Right.
come back from a call and be covered with vomit and
Right.
blood.
Right.
Do you want me to bring that into the town hall?
Vomit and blood.
Mary?
Vomit.
Okay, Mary?
I have a question about the addition on the existing fire building.
Right.
If we, I'm not good with the measurement part, but if we build an addition to the Old Town Hall side of that fire building,
Right.
we have enough space to build enough room for the ambulance to be secure in there.
Yes.
In the back, you were talking about, instead of having more medical equipment back there, could there be one lavatory and one shower put in there?
Sure.
I understand there's going to be issues with the septic,
Mhm.
but if we're gonna be thinking long-term, using the taxpayers' money long-term, let's do it right. And maybe by not bringing in the vomit and the smoke and everything into the Old Town Hall, we'll have a better facility for the fire department.
Not a big giant shower, just a.
Just a shower, just to clean off,
Okay.
Yeah.
not a jacuzzi.
If we go the route of that, one or more bathrooms, shower, I believe we'll take a different septic system.
Right.
So that
That
will,
would
Wouldn't
be the
that for how
cost.
many people are actually there? If we only using it once in a while, it's
Right.
not like it's a constant.
But I think part of this is when they start to have meetings to discuss what are the needs of for that building, needs and wants, that's gonna be all shaken out and it's gonna say, this is, you know, this is what we need for a laboratory, this is what we need for a shower. This is really the space we could live with, we would like a little bit more, well, this is the minimum amount of space, and in the end, I think
Because with
the
the
ideal is
septic,
everybody to end up in a happy place, a medium saying, maybe not everybody got what they wanted, but they got more or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were,
That's all gonna come out.
they were
They need
also
to start
talking,
having meetings so they can discuss this to say, what is it you need so we can move forward to start planning it.
and they were also talking about having wash machines in there so they can wash their bunker gear instead of taking their stuff home.
you do it right here.
So, and giving it to kids and stuff like that. So, also too, you gotta also figure out our police department sitting down in a hole in the wall down here. And that,
Yeah, but we voted to put them in the hall when we built this
yeah,
building.
but don't also understand, there's mildew and everything else down
Oh,
in there.
on our new building?
no, I don't.
Down in there,
Right,
yes,
yeah.
it's all admitted.
Taken out. Just comment about
New
your,
building, there's building.
about your septic. Yes, the building's not used all the time,
Right.
but when you
It's a
build a,
volunteer fire department,
Right.
only supposed to be there so many times a day, whatever. It's not like it's a public building where 100 people come in every day using the system.
but if you have a new house built and it's 3 bedrooms, you need a different size septic than if it's 2 bedrooms. Even if you say, look, we're only gonna use 2 bedrooms, the size of it determines what you need, and that might occur.
How
over
many
there as
people
well.
is in the house too? You could have a 2-bedroom and have 3 people living in it and still have it as a 2-bedroom, and
It doesn't matter.
It's the number of
Does
bedrooms.
not matter.
how many flushes?
Alright, go ahead.
So, what happens to the $150,000 site work that was done down on?
That's gone.
It's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah,
And that was approved by the town.
That was when other people wasn't realizing how much our taxes are going up, and we're all gonna have to move out of town because nobody wants to move in this town.
and certainly, as mentioned at the town meeting, we are still feeling the impact of the school. I'm not sure people are ready to spend more money on top of the school for something that we would like to have, but maybe it's just gonna have to wait. I didn't find much support for a new highway garage.
I don't think you will either.
No.
I
You
don't
won't
think
find
you're
it.
gonna find.
Because we're not Rochester, we're a little town. We
I
don't
don't think
need
you're gonna.
this humongous thing.
I don't think you're gonna find support for a brand new fire department. An addition is one thing, but a new.
Well, the
In addition,
65,
yes.
doing the numbers off the quick of my head, that 65,000 should be plenty of money to, all you're doing is doing the structure, a little bit of wiring, you're not putting a full foundation in, you're only doing a slab,
Right,
you know, so you're not talking about tons and tons of money. I mean, if you want, I'll go see Gordon Tibbetts and have him write up something and figure out
are
what.
you including a possible new septic, which is a
Well,
big
well, that's
question.
something different than you're talking.
Yes.
Now, are you just trying to extend the system that you have, just make the leach field longer?
Oh,
You
okay.
can't
You
extend
can't do
it.
that.
I think
I
we're
don't
doing
think
a
so.
new
I don't
system.
think this is a place for the septic, is what I remember.
Well, you can, septic can be
pumped up.
You can pump them up, you can chamber them, you can do a lot with a septic to make it work. It's just-
It was the neighbor's water. You have to have so many feet between that, and that's the well is over
Yeah,
there somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe 75
feet, right?
Yep.
75
The other
feet.
part of it too is with the septic system, you can't take, if they do have a bathroom where you're washing all the bunker gear and all that and stuff like that, you can't go in the same septic system, so you have to probably have a gray water system as well.
The
That's what
trailer's
somebody
doing
had
it
to
right
figure
now?
out, so.
The trailer's doing it right now?
No, they got nothing now.
Oh, I thought you said the trailer, you were
No,
washing
no,
it.
no. The only thing they have in the trailers are one bathroom for everybody and a sink in it, and that's it.
So that just goes to a tank under the
And this
trailer.
goes to the existing septic tank, and that's it, and it's,
That's not even supposed to be going
it's
there.
got, no, we just,
That was
yeah.
I said,
tied in.
It's a temporary
Usually the time
system.
is something going underneath the parcel.
Temporary for 3 years.
Right.
So yeah, you're gonna need a septic system.
Alright.
So, okay, so I'll ask the question that, so that the highway department's not moving, and I know that there's a concern, I guess, with the salt, with the possibility that the salt and sand shed is gonna go down on Ridge Road.
You got nobody to build one.
Here's what I think,
13,000, and they need just something to.
what's the matter with the salt where it is?
oh, the shed itself is falling apart.
Well, it's
So
leaking
I
into-
delivered, I deliver salt and I've delivered to that shed.
Yeah,
And
but
I've delivered to state sheds and
it's
some of the
sinking
state sheds are
into
worse than what we have.
The abutter's property, there's an
Yeah.
issue with it leaching into the abutter's property.
So if we move the sand down there and the salt down there,
Right.
does that mean Barron's gonna get another 25,000 load dump trucks? When our drivers should be able to load a dump truck?
Well-
We're paying, no, that's serious, that's what I'm asking you. And another thing, since I'm on the Public Works, why are employees taking trucks on? I want, as a taxpayer, why does Eddie Brennan take a truck on? There's no reason why that goes home to Milton every solitary night.
Alright, well,
Can you look into it?
yeah, although, for where he lives and being called out, this, you're talking about two trucks, one that Rick has and one that has, the big trucks stay there.
So they're using our vehicles to plow their driveways at home too?
I would be very surprised if that were going on.
I just don't think a truck should be going home. It's a
Well,
brand new
Rick
truck.
only lives a couple miles down the road.
That truck should stay
So
here.
why was he taking a vehicle home? I mean, you take your vehicle home when you're done working? Are you-
Well, I have my own vehicle.
Yeah, right, but they don't
Right,
supply you a vehicle to
Right.
drive.
Right.
It's wear and tear.
I mean, since we're talking about people taking vehicles home, our support vehicle for our fire department,
Right.
that's on the dirt bumpiest road on the way out of town. Why is that being driven home every night?
Well, that's where the chief lives.
Why does he take that home?
Well, I guess
He's available 24 hours a day, 7
respond to
days a week.
emergencies.
What's that?
He's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days.
So,
That's what
he
his
drives
job
it
is.
wherever he wants?
No, they don't take it everywhere they want.
Right, so it's only at his house.
Right.
So if he's out in Rochester in his own personal car, he's gonna go all the way back to his house to get that vehicle versus
Or-
driving to the...
Or he can have somebody else who's another firefighter go get it if they need that at the scene for a command vehicle.
Well, I remember when we bought that, and the fire chief at the time was that young guy,
They've been paid you.
and I saw him and I talked to him about that, and he's like, well, we really didn't need it, I just put it in the budget, and they voted it for us. So well, now we have it, so now I understand, we have it, so now we use it, that's
Okay, but
fine.
the
How many
other part
miles is on that now?
But the other part of the story is half that was purchased through a grant as well.
But why are we,
All of it was.
Okay, but it was a grant money.
Why are
I
we-
think so too, but I didn't wanna say that because
I mean, I would love to have a company that I work for that I can drive. You know, they pay for the gas, they pay for the insurance, they pay for everything. It adds up after a year, and we're paying for that. So now the truck's gonna be worn down more quicker. Because we used to have old World War II trucks in the fire department.
Right.
Because we got 9 miles of road in town?
12.
12.
You know, this is what it is.
Everybody thinks,
Everybody knows that now.
everybody thinks Route 153 is part of Middleton, and it's not.
No, it's not.
State.
That's
It's a
state.
part of Middleton, but Middleton doesn't maintain it.
That's right.
Let's be clear.
Middleton doesn't maintain a lot of dirt roads either.
I apply for the state, so I know.
I know.
And so, and a lot of the dirt roads, they don't cover either. We have beautiful equipment. That should last us 15, 20 years. Hmm?
And what if it was in a building?
They are all in buildings.
No,
No, they're not.
Terrace house not.
The what?
The small,
Small plow trucks,
Oh,
that's parked
dump
outside.
body.
The small plow
If you
trucks?
wanna go that far, then neither one of the trucks that go home with both of the foremen are not parked in
Yeah,
garages.
they're parked outside.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And that's because
Well,
the
we
tax
need to
is
go
on
that
public
far,
record.
all our equipment that we bought out there, the
No, they're made for outside.
all that other stuff is all outside too.
Yeah, but they're made-
And that's hundreds of thousands of dollars and shit.
One truck's $130,000.
all these
Talking
construction
about your
companies do
backhoe
not
thingy,
park
your
their
grader,
vehicles in.
that other thing they just put out there.
One at a time, please.
Move it on.
All right, yes.
Just piggybacking on all this, when is the ambulance being put in service?
Well, I saw it as recently as yesterday. I believe we're still waiting for radios to be installed. Okay, so it's here, but,
Oh, I know it's here, but I heard that, the holdup was the selectmen approving the piece for the stretcher.
No.
That's been approved?
Bill Lawrence,
When was it approved, I guess?
Bill Lawrence called last week, whatever, and he already brought it to the board's attention that we need to have this one piece for the self-loading part of it.
Yeah.
And he had a quote of $3,100, and he was waiting for the budget to be passed, and now it's passed, and like, he's the guy will take it and get that done. Absolutely, we gotta have it, we want the ambulance. He said, by the way, I got it down to $2,600. So, yeah, go ahead and get it done, we need to have it. So, that's the other thing. So, and that was, I don't remember what day, but it was this week. So, having said that, the other thing was the
No, I didn't.
radio
It blew me off.
came in from Osby Mountain, and because they had taken it down to two-way to have it put in, there had to be a big paper trail transition from the Motorola or whoever they bought it from, to get from point A to point B. Okay, the radio was in our possession, so it's just a matter of getting stuff down to two-way, and they can put it in. So,
Do you know when all that's gonna happen?
well, I made a comment to Chief the other day that if somebody wants to get the ambulance down with equipment, I can pick them up and bring them back after we drop it off. So it's just a ride back.
yes.
You didn't answer Roland's question about them taking the cars home.
So you guys can you look into it as selectmen?
Glad to
Why?
look into it, but,
So is it a dead question? It's not gonna get answered?
at the moment, I'd be surprised
Well,
if
it's okay.
anything was done to change it, but I'll certainly talk with them and,
I'm not the only one complaining, you know, I listen to people all the time say, there's no reason why that truck's going home. And I'll tell you right now, if I drive by there and he's plowing his driveway, I'm gonna take a picture of it.
yeah,
And I'm gonna bring it in to you guys, and then I'm gonna take it to the paper. 'Cause we as taxpayers should not have him driving a brand spanking new truck down that dirt road that beats the snot out of it, it's gonna wear and tear. Why?
no,
Just because he's an employee? I don't think it's right.
okay, well, be glad to look into it and see what I get for a response from them and.
What, from
calls
Rick?
they do.
He's gonna say, well, I take my truck home too.
Right, either Rick or Ed, either one.
Yeah, and both, like she said, both of those vehicles sit outside. So they don't need to be in a garage.
Well, it'd be better if they were, but they're not.
You can't put them in a garage when they go home every night.
We all would like to have garages, but we don't.
Yeah, we all don't use them.
My truck sits out too, so. All right,
I get new business.
okay, are we done with this
I got
topic,
a-
at least for the time being? Yes,
We have all this equipment that we just purchased and whatnot, sitting
Yes.
over there for the fire department. What's the success rate on the fire department? Buildings being put out, fires?
I don't have an answer.
Every time you guys get a call, do you actually save a building, or are they all total loss like mine?
Well, that all depends on how soon the fire department's called also.
All right,
Well, I'll comment on that as far as our ambulance. When I get in an altercation with my neighbor and everybody knows about it, let me tell you who showed up. Frisbee. Did our ambulance show up? Absolutely not. Cost me $3,000. Our ambulance was nowhere to be had. So, I was better over that, but it's over and done with, but
all right.
I live in my own town and Frisbee had to show up.
I don't know the particulars of it, but in terms of the house, again, I don't know how to define a successful save or not successful. I mean, if, in your case, I believe the whole building went down.
Lost that, two
How about
cars and a trailer truck.
if half a building goes, is that they stop the fire, is that a success?
Well, here's the thing. They showed up, put the flame out, ran out of water, left. Hour and a half later, it flared up, and it burned for another 40 hours.
while the fire was being fought, did they add more water to it? Did they go get more water from the tankers?
They put water to it till the flame was gone.
Right.
Then they packed up and left, and during the middle of the night it flared back up, and it burned all day and into the next night.
Were they called the second time?
I didn't call them because I wasn't there.
Okay.
But everything in the building when they left was sitting in the cellar, and it was all total loss anyways.
Yeah.
And here's my biggest complaint. There was a 2008 Freightliner sitting 40 feet beside the building. I asked the police chief, put water to it and keep it from going up. And he told me, I run the scene, don't tell me how to put the fire out.
Right.
I lost the whole tractor. There was no reason to lose that tractor.
Well,
Are you talking about the fire chief? Because I wasn't there, so.
Yeah, he meant fire chief.
Okay. I'm saying-
Yeah.
You
stand over there, I didn't say
Just one
nothing.
clarification.
That's a $100,000 loss right there. That doesn't include the 400,000 that the total building was.
I'll be glad to talk to him and ask him what happened. Again, I was not there, and if I was, the chief
Man,
would
the
be in
tractor's
charge.
still sitting there, you can go and look at it.
But,
There's a foundation left.
I would ask him why. Again, if I was there, I would not be telling the chief, as selectman, how to run the fire.
I didn't tell him how to run the fire. I said, there's a freight line around the corner that hasn't started yet, put water to it. And that's what he told me.
Didn't you say he ran out of water?
They were just showing up,
Right.
and the tractor was not in flames.
Were they the first ones there?
Middleton was, and Farmington was behind it.
Yeah. And eventually, a few other towns, I think, showed up as well.
I'm not sure who was in my driveway. Wasn't a good night.
For sure on that.
22 years of building, and I built that building myself with little help.
Yeah.
Complete wood shop, all kinds of stuff in the bottom of it. 2 antique cars, all gone.
Yeah.
So, hence my question is, how much more new equipment do we really need?
Well,
If you got trucks to contain the fire and let it burn, that's basically what happened to me. That's what happened to Kyle Larson. He lost his whole house.
I think certainly one of the questions in this town is water, getting water. Okay. We have water on all 3 fire trucks, but in a fire, it certainly does not last long. That's why we ask for mutual aid from other towns. They bring their tankers in. But even at that, you have to go get these tankers filled up. So we are certainly at a
They can't suck off the lake.
disadvantage compared with towns that have hydrants.
When the town showed up, the fire department,
Right.
I told them the building was lost, put the tractor, make sure it doesn't go.
Okay.
And that's what I was told.
All right. Well,
There was flames coming out the side of the building, the roof was going in, and the first floor was in the cellar.
All right.
There was no saving nothing
I
in.
can't talk right now.
So I'm a little,
Yeah.
I'm a little not happy about, losing that tractor that didn't have to go.
Right.
I'm not happy about any of it, but I'm not throwing blame at anybody that went up. It's just that, why do we need more equipment is my question. The equipment we got, we can't make it fit in that building and call it good.
Well, we have 3 trucks and 1 ambulance. So,
Okay, with 3 trucks and 1 ambulance, it still went.
I don't mean to speak out of,
right.
I have a good friend who's a fire chief or was a fire chief, and I'm sure these guys can tell you, they have a very strict guidelines of, and they're taught at the fire academy, it's life, structure, property. So like if you have a beautiful car sitting next to your house, they're not gonna save the car and let the building burn. So they gotta do they gotta go for life first. If there's no life risk, then they go for the structure. And then if the structure's okay, then they can go for the property. They're not really supposed to allow the barn to burn to save the truck, which it kinda stinks, but if he's just going by what he's supposed to be doing.
There was flame coming out the side of the buildings and the roof was caved in.
I'm just saying.
The tractor was not even.
That's why I'm not trying to speak out, I'm just trying to say that's probably what it is. He's probably
Just so
just
you
trying to
know,
go with his training and experience, that's what
If
they
he
do.
went after your tractor before he went after the building, your insurance company wouldn't cover the building.
Didn't cover it
Didn't
anyways.
cover it anyway.
Sorry about that.
That's what I'm hearing a lot.
But he doesn't know that at the time, so.
All right. More on this subject, a new subject.
I got a new show.
Far away.
Okay, T-Mobile, all right, that's our other one over the other.
All right.
Talked to him today, talked to Jack today, and ask them about the balloon test, and they'll come out and do the balloon test. Also too, they're in the process of filling out the applications. So that's, our thing right now is with what he would like us to do, which, my counterpart here and myself have gone through the contract, would like you guys go through the contract, sit down and get that shot out to our lawyers, so I can give that back to them down there for T-Mobile, so, but,
I think before it goes to
Yeah.
lawyers, I think the townspeople need to have some input on what it would look like to have the tower there. I think that's our responsibility first, before we sign any contracts.
Wouldn't you have to have a public hearing on that too?
I would expect to have
In that
several public
location? I don't know,
hearings.
that's
Yeah.
my understanding.
yes,
is-
but the
okay.
thing about it is, it has to come before the planning.
Yeah.
He has to fill out the stuff that comes before the planning board,
Who?
which has nothing to do with the selectmen.
No, who comes before the planning board, Roger? I'm asking.
Would be the tower company, would come to us.
T-Mobile.
Oh, no, okay, that's what I'm
Okay,
just saying.
and we're the ones who either accept the application, and we are the ones who put it forward
Well,
for the town meeting.
but it has to be, there has to be land available for it. How do they know that there's land available? That's, I guess that's kind of that
Because
part.
those spots down there are owned by the town.
So then they would have to come to the town to ask if they could have
The
permission?
contract should come first,
But, yeah, that's right.
because you're not gonna do a planning board application on land they don't own.
Right, so they need
So
to
the
get that.
contract has to go.
What they need to do is take a look at the contract, see if there's anything in there you want changed. Her and I have sat down, we've looked at it. At least get an idea of what you guys want in the contract, so I can at least send something back to him to let them know what's in that contract.
But I think that's putting the cart before the horse. Am I not the only one that?
Well,
No,
if the
they're also
people-
filling out their application.
I know, but if the people in the area are saying no, 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 then we're really doing a lot of work that we shouldn't be doing. I'm just,
Right. That's why I was trying to ask the question of like, where.
because I've heard this
process, right,
conversation,
because-
and a lot of it was no's. Not that I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you gotta have the people from the village district's word on it. I mean, you gotta hear the people.
It's gotta be the whole town's word.
Right.
The public meeting should be held for everybody's input, because the location they wanna put it is down in Tanglewood, up towards Pinkham Road, and that may be good for somebody. And I also would recommend that we wait until summertime, so the summer residents who
Can be
pay
involved.
taxes up here can be part of that conversation.
The other thing though too is you wanna make sure that when they do that balloon test, that people are around.
Well,
That's why we say we have the
The
big
height,
tent.
the height right now,
take
they're talking,
pictures, you'll be all right.
what they're talking is 150 to 200.
Okay,
So,
so have a
so,
balloon test at 200.
yeah,
Okay?
so that will give you an idea at least what,
If they wanna do that, if they wanna do the balloon test and put together a package like this one here was, okay? Then we can have that to present at a public meeting for everybody to see.
your contracts were approved for almost 7 years or longer. So don't say, I got a 1-year thing. Those other contracts that we had were approved way back.
I don't said a one-year thing, Roger. I'm just saying that if you want to do this, the public should have input on it. And the only way to do that, to do it right, is to have everybody who lives in this area who pay taxes, whether they live here full-time or part-time, it doesn't matter, should be here at that point to be able to weigh in on that meeting, okay? So
I
having
highly
said that,
agree
if we have a booklet together that they wanna propose to put down in Tanglewood, so people can make an educated decision on whether they want it there or not, they will have the pictures there, they can sit and visualize it, and at that point, if the taxpayers say, that'll be okay with us, it won't be an eyesore, then we can enter into a contract with T-Mobile, do what they wanna do. I mean, they can do, I think the biggest thing, if they wanna do a presentation to the town.
Well, they're
that would
gonna
be-
do a presentation.
Okay, so if they're gonna do a presentation, we need to find a good date to do that, when we have the majority of the people who live here can be part of that.
But you know as well as I, Joe, no, we sit on the planning board. Nothing moves until it goes through that planning.
I agree.
So, if they don't have something coming to us to start that 10-day thing moving, so that people can, so we can start giving the public people an idea of when they're gonna come to that town meeting. They just don't make a day that they have a town meeting. certain things by the law, by RSAs that we gotta do, and you know that.
Here's my concern about this, you're comparing the two. You're right, for years we've been working on this one. During those many
20
years.
years I worked on.
Okay. In the 10+ years that I've been around, I've never heard a single word of concern or complaint about putting a tower down there. It has been, yes, we want it, yes, we want it. We've had votes at the town regarding where to spend the money, but it's been consistently, yes, we want that tower. I've not heard that about Tanglewood. I've heard a lot of negative comments. I'm reluctant to just ignore those comments and say, well, we're gonna go ahead anyway. I'd like to know what the people feel about putting a tower that is in a primarily residential area. I'd like to see the results of that 200-foot balloon test with pictures to see who's gonna see the tower and who's not, all right? I see a world of difference between the comments I've heard about Tanglewood versus down here on the Ridge Road.
Well, I hear the same thing.
Okay.
All right, I hear the same thing. The point is we're out there trying to bring money into the town.
I agree.
That's all we hear.
Right.
Oh, we ain't bringing no businesses, none of this other stuff. So I'm out there, you're out there, we're all out there plugging to bring money into the town.
Yeah.
Now we've got money coming into the town with the tower. And I got an extra tower coming in town, which does not mean we have to stick it right there. When we were talking, we were sticking it down further in, which we could do again, where it would not be seen as much as it would be up this way. But when you're taking $2,500, which I'm talking about this time, and this is what Joanne and I are talking about, instead of $1,400 for rent down here, which we were took in the shorts, and we were gonna get took in the shorts for this one down here when I start working on that one. Another $1,400. We should have never got that less money, but anyways. If we have to move it, then I wanna know we gotta move it. I don't care, let the town decide what they wanna do. If they're not happy, if they think a tower don't look, that's fine. I don't care. But understand, there are few, but very few people out there that are trying to bring money into town. It kind of irritates the hell out of me when I'm trying to do this work, and all what I get back there is, oh, well, I don't know. Now, if you're not happy with the $2,500, if we can get it a month coming into the town, then let me know and I'll stop this project right now and let somebody else do it.
I don't think that's what's being said, Roger. I think I think we're just trying to figure out what the process is supposed to be, that's all.
We know what the process is.
Okay, I'm just saying, because
And now we're banging around different process. Oh, well, I don't think we should do the contract. Oh, well, I think we should do a blue
Roger.
test. Oh, well,
Roger,
yes.
we need a definite timeline. That's what everybody's trying to discuss, settle here. And I think part of you are right, part of you are wrong, both ways. I think the first thing that everybody's agreeing on is that the town needs to decide where that tower should go.
I agree with that.
Time out. Where it should go. That means the balloon test, so that we can see what the pictures would look like around the town. If the location is agreeable, then the town should take a look at a contract and possibly simultaneously, or at least at the same timeline, the tower company needs to bring forward some kind of proposal as to what they'd offer. Put the contract and the offer together, and then we've got town hearings. We're all set to go. But first, the balloon test. Let the town decide whether that's what they want and where they want it, and then move forward from that.
Is that what you guys want, is the balloon test? I'll call him tomorrow.
I would like to see it that way.
Yep, and I'd like.
All right, so I'll call him tomorrow, ask him if he can set up a time. What we'll do is get the time set up, and then what we'll also do is let the town know that this balloon test is going on. Because a lot of people don't know what this balloon test is. So, and for you guys out
Everybody here know what we're talking about? The balloon test?
The balloon test is where they set it at the highest point of your tower, and it gives you an idea of the surrounding area where that tower, what you're gonna see from there.
It's gonna be like a 360 view
Right.
around to where that, and it's an orange balloon that's coming up over the top of the trees, and that would indicate the top of your tower, so you can see it from 153 across the lake,
Right.
from the air, whatever you were looking at, you'll see it.
So that's, what we'll do, what I'll do is I'll call them and I'll ask them if he can come out and do that thing, and then we'll let the people know.
Now, the other thing, Roger, is considering the time of year and the mud and the snow and the other things, I don't know how fast they can do the balloon test and get the pictures and get a brochure printed, but I think John is also right, we need to hold off on a town review of that information until more of the population is here, so that they can get an accurate opinion from the people that'll be affected.
I think T-Mobile wants to try to get this thing up before the end of the year.
Well, that's fine, but we're talking about summertime at least, or at least late spring, where more of the population.
It took us over a year to get this one done, and that one there was confirmed.
Chill out, Raj.
You know what I mean?
In terms of pictures, I'm looking for pictures from several different locations.
If you've got the pictures that were presented with the other balloon tests with the other,
Yeah.
that can give them a perspective as to what they should be putting.
Yeah, they know what to do. I already talked to Jack, and he says they know what to do with the balloon test.
Okay.
The biggest part would be the lake itself, people sitting on the lake and seeing the tower.
Well, that's part of it. I would
Yeah.
wanna know if people can see it from the house.
Sure.
Okay? Because there's a lot of houses around there.
Can people see them from their house down here? Of course.
Yeah, but it's bringing money in.
Down here, what are you saying?
This tower down here, there's people across the road, there's people down the road.
Very few people.
Yeah, well,
Okay?
We're talking putting this T-Mobile in probably close to the most densely populated part of the town, around
Yeah,
the
but
lake.
isn't Tanglewood hasn't been developed anyways? It's been
No,
open.
I think there's like 70 acres up there, if I remember right, and I don't know how many lots, but everything is now town-owned property, but with the exception of 3 of them.
Yeah, 'cause I tried to buy a piece years and years ago, and
And just little lot size things like that, but those 3 people who own them are current on the taxes, so they still want them, but, you know. Hey.
So that actually goes right into another segment of questions. What's the town doing with all those lots on Tanglewood? And why are we still holding on to them?
Because we are probably trying to make a town area for it, instead of selling it.
So instead
Not
of,
going to conservation, but keep it town-owned property.
so
Because a
how
lot of people now use
many,
it
how
for-
many building lots are we taking over instead of making a tax base?
The lot sizes, and I don't remember how
Very
many.
small
Yeah,
lots.
there's no roads, no power, none of that up in
I
there.
thought
So
it
the
was,
people
I thought the roads had been developed in already.
No,
They-
there are.
there's a couple of them.
There are some roads that go up in there, because you go down off the lake shore, the yellow gate, you go.
But it doesn't matter if there's no roads or no power, someone will be willing to develop it, they're willing to develop it.
And there is power, it goes up the right-hand side, because it parallels Pinkham, up into there to a point, and it stops. It's like 3/4 of the way up.
And this is part of the lake side, so this would be an increase of 0.61 on the taxes for that, anything that was built in that area.
Yes.
So we wanna spend town money to make it conservation, which would mean,
But
or not conservation, recreational, which would mean parking areas need to be developed, maintained by the town, trails need to be maintained by the town, insurance coverage for anybody walking on that.
So right now, basically as it stands, people use it all the time for walking, mountain biking. I see people have ATVs up through there, people have motorbikes up through there, people have gone snowshoeing through there, cross-country skiing through there. And it comes down off of that gate, and there's actually a small point right there you can access onto the lake with, okay? So, basically.
That's why I wanted to buy a piece so I would have access to the lake.
I'm just,
No,
I believe you, the comment you made at Meet the Candidates night was the only thing we have in this town to offer anybody is the lake. So this is 70 acres to offer for the lake. I understand that would be recreational, but recreational doesn't really help us a whole lot if we're trying to increase the tax
I
rate.
agree. But we never thought, selling it either.
Unless you're saying let's sell it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we could
Bring some
package
tax
it
revenue.
together to a developer and sell it as a whole to a developer.
It's always
well,
a
that was
possibility.
a developer that went defunct in there.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is
the right
a different
one.
time, and I believe lake properties right now would
Right, yeah, you're right.
be fairly, desirable to
Well,
somebody.
it's lake access, it's not.
That was gonna be my
lake
next one. I don't know if any of those lots have in the deed the lake access or not. That'd be something we have to find out.
Yeah.
Because it's not deeded
Yeah.
lake access, I mean.
I don't
But we
know
still have
enough
that
about
one.
it.
Well, I always
don't
thought
know
that
enough
little
about it,
beach
but it
spot was for that Tanglewood.
It just, if we're talking about Tanglewood, so it was an opportunity to raise the question.
John Mullen, I bet you would know.
Hmm?
John Mullen would probably.
Yeah.
I would guess off the top of it, I would think if you wanted to.
What's that?
Whether Tanglewood has, lake access. Any of it.
Deeded.
Oh, I don't know, you have to look at their.
But John
deeds.
probably would know it, if not, then.
How big are those lots? I know you can
They're not
combine
big.
them, but, I'm not
The
sure.
one that we're looking at now is, the frontage is 100 by 160 feet, 65.
Not big at all.
So were they all deeded as house
That's
lots?
2 lots.
But they're already were pre-approved on a subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
house
a long
So
time
it's all,
ago, yeah.
it's all grandfathered in.
Well, I don't know what they were approved as, whether the house lots or it's gonna be a huge camping
Yeah.
area,
Yeah,
okay?
I don't know the history on it all the way.
This goes back into the, I'm gonna guess, late sixties, seventies.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay, so, you said it was 160 by 100?
165 by 100, but that's 2 lots.
Yeah, so the lot might be
So
100 by 80.
50.
That's a very small one.
Too small for a septic and a well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But if you put the tower up, that'll kill that whole thing. You'll never be able to develop it.
that would,
May not.
So the tower won't kill it.
There's 70 acres in there,
I don't think
that
the tower
hurt
will.
too much.
The tower's only 100, you only need a 100-foot, that's all. 100 by 100, you're all set.
in terms of the space,
Right.
Right.
The
but
tower would have to 100.
the view might affect people wanting to.
I like towers.
It brings in money.
The owls all land on them.
People,
You
how
know,
many
owls
times do
and
you
birds.
drive down the highway on 16 and see those towers? Tell me how many towers are in Rochester sitting up on that hill? Can you tell me when you? No.
See one from my window.
How many do you
Blink
really
every night.
look?
Now, are these towers gonna help our cell phone reception in town?
Yep, and it's gonna bring money into town.
$1,500.
A month so far.
could be more.
Could be more.
Could have been more.
I can see the guy's
Could be
house on
more,
top of the
about
mountain
right
from
now,
the lake.
1,500 could be up to about 5,000.
How many year contract do they have?
Right now, what do you got, John? We got going temporary. Huh?
It, went down here, it's a 50-year contract.
50-year contract at $1,500 a month?
No,
Oh,
It goes,
they're in.
for every rider that goes on a tower, it goes up, we get a percentage of that too. So that's
That's
why it
just
can
the
be up to five, and then you are, every year you get like a 3% like we, pay raise for the tower, for the company. Blue Sky will pay.
Incremental increases.
So it goes up, it increases every year. It's just that the point is right now we're starting low, we gotta work it out.
so this tower will be in before the end of the year.
It'd be, hopefully June. We're waiting for the posting of the roads to get done because they can't bring no, cement trucks.
So that will cell service all the way to Wolfboro then? Because you know 153 is
no.
dead.
Be honest with you, it won't. So when we got dealing with Blue Sky, we also thought the same thing because the buses going
Yep.
back and forth and all that stuff. So we have the pit up in New Durham, and there's a potential that maybe in the future we may be able to put one up there again and close that gap a little bit.
Because that road is no cell service at all.
Right. So
You get past
under that
Stevie's.
contract, we can, no, Roger talked about 2,500 for T-Mobile and stuff like that, we didn't get them in the prior contract. Look, we never had cell tower before, no one knows what the numbers are, we try to figure it out, whatever, then you get numbers from all over the United States. So we come in at basically whatever the number was, with so many years, with the riders, with how many people jump on the tower, with the 2% or 3% increases. Okay, that's what it is, that's the contract, okay? That money was all voted on by the taxpayers at town meeting to be earmarked for the proposed highway garage fund, this revolving fund, okay? So, that money, when that starts coming in, will go right into that building fund, and at the mid-town meeting, if you want to repurpose it, take it out and use it for something else, it can be done by town vote.
Can you,
So, having said that, okay, the second tower was going to be probably the same deal, but the money was never purposely
Set
set
aside.
aside for anything, so it goes into the general fund as income, and at that point, it can be used for whatever.
So that money that's coming in here is gonna go to general fund, not,
no,
No, this
No,
tower
down
down here is
there.
going straight to the fund to build the highway garage.
so my question.
There is no highway garage.
there is
No, I'm
no.
gonna ask the question.
That money going in that fund because that's how it was earmarked years ago,
Right,
about 3 years ago.
but can you put in like a special warrant article to change that?
Yes, you can.
There you
That's,
go.
at a future meeting, you can always take and repurpose that money to a different venue.
So can we use that money for the fire department?
Say there's $50,000 in that fund that came from the cell towers, okay? And it's made for just building the highway garage. You in a town vote, somebody could put it in a warrant article to say we want to take it out of this fund and repurpose it for something else.
But you can also put in a warrant article to say, going forward, that money that's generated from the cell tower goes into the general fund, or goes into the ambulance fund, or goes, you can
They can
read.
be earmarked for anything.
Tax
the voters-
fund.
But you can change it so that it doesn't necessarily need to go
That's the
into a
worst thing
certain
you could
fund
ever do.
and then
is throw it in
repurpose
tax.
it. You
Right,
can
you
change
can,
it.
tell you that
whatever the will of the voters want to do with it.
Alright,
Yeah.
just let people know that's an option.
A bit of history on this. Approximately 3 years ago, as selectman, I introduced a warrant article that would repurpose the capital reserve fund for the highway garage. I wanted to change it from a new highway garage to repairing the old one. That was thoroughly shot down.
By who?
People stood
Taxpayers?
up by the people at the town meeting and said, no, we want that new highway garage. We do not want you to set aside that money to do any repairs. It is for a new highway garage.
That's probably before our taxes went through the roof.
No.
Guaranteed.
Whatever, they
Because
were
I'll tell you,
very
it
if,
was 3
if
years
that
ago.
ever gets passed, it'll be like back in the Western day, they'd be hanging the selectmen. I'm telling you,
Not my husband, they won't.
there's no way you're gonna get that passed.
It depends on who comes to the
That was
town
them.
meeting and votes.
That's the problem.
That's how it's,
Just let me have bark in.
I think the younger people that move into town are realizing, you know, spending $800-900 a month just for your taxes, not including your mortgage, that's pretty steep.
It's gonna be hard to get
We
through
do
the
the same
community.
thing.
You know, I said it before, if we lose Middleton Building Supply,
Or
you
DePrezio's.
know, DePrezio's garage, they pay a lot of taxes for this town. And if we lose them, 10 years ago, they had to go to the federal government and borrow, I don't know how many $1 million, but they finally paid it back. But they were struggling. So,
Thank you, Roxanne.
Totally different subject. Good. Well, I was trying to, what's happening with, do we know any more information on waste management? We're gonna go from a Tuesday to a Friday pickup.
They were supposed to be here tonight, they didn't show up.
Pete was supposed to be here tonight?
Yes.
They're coming next week.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming next week.
they're gonna change that. I've been so used to Tuesdays.
So,
No,
if I may,
but,
John,
Yeah.
Lenny, look, you're talking about the taxes and stuff like that, and we made comment before about it, but you have to understand, there's two budgets in this town. You got the town budget and you have the school budget, okay? Our budget this year, that was voted on by the taxpayers, is less than it was last year that was voted on. Okay? So we didn't increase the town operating budget at all. We went down on it. Your taxes have gone up because this other budget was the school budget, okay? So you're gonna talk about taxes, yes, it's one thing, you pay your taxes, I understand that. I feel the pain too, alright? But you gotta understand like that, when you sit there talking about, it's not us doing it, your taxes went down on the town operating side,
Right.
alright? So you wanna sit there and it sounds like we're the ones that take care of the whole thing, and we don't, okay? You need to go to the school delivery sessions, you need to be part of the whole process, only because that's where your vote and your voice makes a difference in it. And I have to tell you, and a lot of us right here were there, basically, we had 13 people in the audience, we had more people on the school board, the budget committee, than we had in the audience to say anything about anything.
That was the one I went to last week?
no.
No, this
This
is last January.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Yeah.
so, you know,
Well, I was biased because I didn't want it. I just figured Farmington was gonna
But no,
reduce
no,
our.
we got it.
Yeah, we
Okay,
got it.
now the other part of the whole situation people gotta understand, before the school was built, we had done the 5-year assessment for the town. Year 1, we're working on voting for the school, they're doing all the footwork. Year 2, it's voted in. Year 3, they started to build it, it's built, it's operating. Now you do another 5-year assessment, what do you think's gonna happen to the overall assessment of the town? You got a $6 million school, your assessment's going up. The town is worth more money now. It has a school. That's the way it works. Every time you do something, it adds more value to your town, your assessment goes higher.
So
It
you're
doesn't
telling-
necessarily mean that your taxes go higher.
So you're telling our taxes are gonna go up in June? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, your tax bill isn't gonna go up in June, Roland, because it's based off of last year, it's the rate that you just paid.
So December.
Right, so you're gonna have to wait till see December, and I'm gonna venture to guess that your tax bill might slightly go down. I don't believe it's gonna go up, I think it's gonna go down because of this, because we did cut money from.
So how can we cut money out of the school budget then to bring
You have to
everybody's
go to
You
taxes?
gotta come to
deliberative session.
Right, you gotta come to the deliberative session for the school, and, because it's SB2, you vote in the, no, your SB2, you vote in the booth there, for the budget.
Right.
But the budget gets set at the deliberative session, and that's when everybody
Or
gets.
better yet, go to the budget meetings when the budget is being created.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So,
It's a process.
now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm the selectmen's liaison to the budget committee. And the budget committee did look at their fund balance as well. And they took $400,000 right out the tuition line, right from the get-go. So, but you're not gonna see that this year. The following year, the budget you just voted on, which is the $4.7 million, is when it passed, is basically what you're gonna see. But that's gonna be a year, it's gonna be later down the road because they start from July 1st till June 30th, okay? So they're off cycle where we go from January to December, okay? But
I
you'll
think
see a
that's
difference eventually, it's just not gonna be right off quick.
You're coming back, right?
Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah, you may have to wrestle on it.
But I asked about waste management.
I'm sorry.
So, I wanna
I need a
get to
free
the
meal.
waste, the garbage thing, so, we don't have, cause Pete isn't coming, sorry, that's why you said that, I'm sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, that was already answered.
Yeah, it was.
On a roll, Roxanne, on a
I just
roll.
wanna know about garbage.
Go ahead.
I would like to say that I was at the school deliberative session. I would like to commend the budget committee for drawing a line in the sand for the school budget. They did a fantastic job. I would like to say that if anybody would like to see their taxes go down, then start attending those budget committee meetings. And by all means, mark your calendar now for next year's school deliberative session. If you're not there, by the time you step into that voting booth and tell the school how to spend their money, it's too late. It's already been decided. And it really upset me to see on the social media people saying, just vote no for everything, when they hadn't even been to the deliberative session to find out what the issues were about.
It's hard to get to.
Joanne, am I correct in saying that when we voted SB2 on Tuesday before the town meeting on Saturday, when we voted on Tuesday, one of those articles was a yes or no vote. If you do not accept the budget committee's recommendation for the school, it goes to a default budget. I believe the default budget was
more
bigger.
Yeah.
So if you're mad at the taxes and you say, I'm voting no, so in that article you vote no,
Just
Go to
gave us a
the bigger
300
tax.
increase.
it's for bigger taxes.
The way it was worded.
You gotta read it, you gotta ask
Well,
questions.
that's,
That's the legal way to have
the
it.
state makes you write it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The budget that you were voting on was lower because the budget committee opted to make it lower. They looked at the school budget just like they look at our budget, okay? They opted to have it lower. Unfortunately, that's the budget that passed. Even though many people voted for the default budget by saying no.
Because I don't think a lot of people understood what they were reading.
That's what they.
Well, they should.
It's the way it was worded.
Well, that's the legal way to have it worded.
Right. But I don't think a lot of people
What did they say
understood.
about the law? Ignorance of the law is no defense.
But that's all I heard was vote no was yes.
Yeah, you should read,
That's
read
part
and
of
educate
social
yourself.
media. if everybody, if you really want to be part of the whole process, like they said, budget meetings is the third Monday of every month.
Yes, and we'd
Okay.
like to have
On
everybody
top
who
of
wants
that,
to come.
Come October or so, September, we start putting everything on the town calendar of all the meetings, both the school and the town, everything's going on. So if you want to attend the meetings, the times, everything is there, if you want to look, so.
Laura, any vacancies on the budget committee right now?
Yes, I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, we just filled them.
They're all
You did?
filled.
Yeah, we had 19 write-ins, so we had to go
Oh,
through.
Who are the new, ones that
Your
we're getting?
Yeah.
three-year
You're an
is
ass.
Rebecca Brownell
He wrote me
Smith.
down something.
Oh, you didn't make it roll?
And your 2-year is Scott Ferguson.
Okay.
And they both, he'll be sworn in
And do
tomorrow.
we get, was there 3 openings?
Nope, just 2.
Oh.
Did Dave take it?
No.
I
No.
didn't?
No, you didn't want it. We tried.
All right, yes, sir. What else?
I have one last question. So, based on the
No.
town meeting and lots of voices in here, it appears to me the selectmen have been working off the long-term town plan, which is, I think was last written off in about 2012, it was updated. And it said that they were gonna do a highway garage, and then they were gonna do a fire department, and then they were gonna do a police station. If I read it correctly the other night. When are the long-term town plans updated?
That was done by a,
It was a charrette. and
yeah,
there
the
some
charrette was done by
suggestions.
a company that came in and did it for us.
There
We
were
didn't-
suggestions for the town to consider,
that's-
nothing,
Yeah, that was,
nothing was
we didn't
defined
pay
as,
anything for
as
that.
policy.
It was a charrette.
Yeah.
We paid
By-
for
That
that.
word.
I think the sti-
I'm just, because that's on the website, it says the long-term town plan. and
Right,
that's
but
what we have.
by default, that plan is updated every year in
And-
March when people say yay or nay.
Right.
This year, they very definitely said nay to a new highway garage.
Well,
So what are we gonna do about it? Nothing,
Okay.
okay?
I'm
In terms of the highway
I'll be
garage.
honest with you, part of that charrette, I'm more focused on the roundabout, here we're supposed to have instead of the garage.
Well, no, or,
That was part of it.
Oh,
no, I
God.
think we should get our helicopter now.
Black one.
You haven't seen
So
the
part of that,
helicopter?
really, that charrette showed us having a traffic circle out here.
Alright.
Seriously?
I didn't.
You mean like
I read
Lee
the
Circle?
front side of it, so.
Traffic circle, it's supposed
We
to
don't have enough population to go that circle.
It doesn't matter, we're supposed to have one.
Oh, boy.
Good for the summer.
You guys are the program.
Alright, what else for the good of our meeting tonight? Yes, chief?
I understand there's some questions about the fire department that was getting thrown around.
Uh,
Anybody got something to?
Start again.
Can I,
Hey, I left dinner to come back, so.
can I summarize just a bit, and anyone else is welcome to speak? Besides the selectmen considering an addition, you've considered an addition, other people in town have considered an addition. Like you recommended, I don't know,
Yeah, we decided to go to 20 by 40
We
because
haven't
we just
decided
said.
anything yet, Leonard. We have not decided anything yet. We need to.
so,
Well, I'm gonna get some plans written up and try to figure it
I'll
out,
be on
so.
Facebook
We
in
need
a
a
couple
wish
hours.
list. And it has to have.
We're building a fire station, that's what's gonna be on you watch.
but, chief, here's the problem. I think we could agree upon a size. 20 by 40, 21 by 40, somewhere around there. The big drawback is bathrooms, showers, or not. If you have to have them, I do not believe we can stay within the $65,000 money set aside for this year. And what I've heard some people say tonight is, if we can't have that, then let's not build an addition this year at all. So, we would still be left with 4 vehicles, 3 bays. We can take care of the construction trailer because you would get the same facilities if you took an office out of the town hall and took the 2 bathrooms out.
So I've been
That'll be
thinking
the
about
same.
that since
Alright.
we talked about that earlier. And I'm not sure, and I still have, see, this is why it was sticking in my head that wasn't, that I had some reservations about it.
Right.
First of all, one of the things that we've been talking about is when we come back from calls or whatever, when we're coming with
That's,
Schmutz.
I was brought up
Okay,
tonight.
we don't wanna bring that into the old town hall, that was decided years ago, because you don't wanna be cleaning out vomit or anything else on you in the same place you're gonna have a
Vomit
birthday
goes
party.
away.
Keep going.
The other thing is, what happens,
Well, I get to put
like,
it-
everything right now is all self-contained. If we need to wash up with something, we have a place that we can wash up and we're not exposing the public to it. Now, if we come back from a call and someone's having a anniversary party over there, now we've got nothing. We don't wanna see 15 people going through there, hey, how you doing, congratulations, while we're getting cleaned up over there. So I know you were talking about it, maybe it's premature to talk about this, but if that trailer is at the end of its life, because let's face it, we got it used, I don't know, what did we pay for that thing? It was cheap money.
$2,500 I think.
Yeah, it was cheap money. But it's lasted us how long?
3 years.
3, 4, right.
Right.
So, I know you were talking about wanting to beautify the center of town, I fully agree with that. But what happened, if we put a privacy fence in front of that, so you can't see it, that still keeps us all contained in one section. We don't have to, because we just spent how much money on that old town hall making that thing look nice? Do we really want a bunch of guys going in there with gear, traipsing through there, washing up, or keep us contained?
But if you don't want or not willing to use the town hall, what
That's not what
happens
I'm
when that construction trailer becomes unusable?
Well-
And already the floor is soft, there's concerns about that.
You're right.
Are you saying repair that?
Well, my question is,
Wouldn't that
and
be
I don't know,
throwing
I've
money
only had,
against the-
I've only had about an hour to think about this since we talked about it before. But, do we look at, making some repairs to it? Because let's face it, we're gonna be in there for the next 4 to 5 years.
In the construction trailer?
Or, well, before anything happens, I
I don't
think.
think it's gonna be 4 years before anything happens.
Yeah, it's
I
only
think
probably
it's gonna be a
$100
year.
to fix the
I think
floors.
it's only gonna be about a year, seriously.
That's fine, but I've been talking about this since what, '05?
Yep.
14 years we've been talking about this, so.
All right, now you're going down that road that
No,
we
no,
went
no,
down with the
no.
highway department.
Oh, no,
I'm going to stupid highway department, no one discussed that.
But I'm just trying to think of a way that we are still self-contained. We're not bringing stuff into the old town hall.
Can't do it anyway, there's an RSA says you can't go in there.
Well, I think,
Why don't we work on
that's
getting
not
a wish
true.
list
Yes.
of
Well,
what
and
they
that's
have
it.
to
And
have?
we're putting a
like
lot of
to
things
have,
ahead.
and see if there's enough money to do that.
I am-
Before we initiate.
Okay, wait a minute, I can't hear everybody talking at once. Okay?
But
Go
I love the idea of the addition, absolutely. I'm 110% behind that. I think it's a great idea, definitely gives us breathing room, we've got 4 trucks, 3 bays. Literally, anybody wants to see it, we got about a foot between all of our trucks. So, I think it's a good idea for the addition.
But if you're talking about the bathrooms and a septic, there's not enough money to do that this
I
year.
didn't bring that up.
No, but we
No,
did,
it
but
has been brought up tonight.
Right.
But you
And
don't know that yet.
Well, all you need is
Do
the building.
research.
when you say building, what do you mean?
You need a place to park your vehicle and maybe a place in the back to store all your stuff. The showering, whatever you're doing now, is still working out fine with whatever you've been doing for the last 5 years.
Well, there's no
No, it's
showers.
not.
Well, clean your equipment
Your
off.
hands.
We have a small bathroom
Right.
that we are able
And,
to.
and out of this last year, what do we get? 2 fires, 3 fires?
We go to 120 calls a year.
How many fires?
Well, but wait a second. We also, are you talking, so we've got fire and EMS.
Yeah, I'm
EMS
sorry about this,
runs-
just a fire.
No,
EMS tried to come to my house, and time I got to the house, I told the people on 911, just forget it. I'm just gonna take it to the hospital, because the time they get to the fire department, get the vehicle, get going, I'm already gonna be at Frisbee. So,
But that's also why we have mutual aid too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna tell you that we run about 120 medical calls a year. We run about 120 fire calls a year. So that could be anything from CO calls, could be to medical assist, where our firefighters
Yeah.
are exposed to helping people out. We're assisting medical. We could be going to fires, we could be going to car accidents, we could be going forestry.
right, but that's
So-
not what my question was. How many times have you came back in the last year that you actually were soaked with vomit, and soaked with fire damage and,
I mean,
because
well,
everybody
soaked
keeps saying, yeah, everybody keeps
or
saying they.
a place
they
to
can't-
wash up,
Yeah,
there's two
no.
different things.
No, everybody keeps bringing up vomit and, yeah, but.
It happens.
But Bill, how
We
about
get-
this?
we get-
I know
we
we can
get
get a
phlegm.
trailer donated, a camper trailer, 28 feet, my brother's got one. It's got a shower in it, it's got all that stuff in there, and there's no rotted floor, and I know he'll donate it, 28 feet. You want one of them?
There's an inherent problem now that we have a toilet hooked up to a system that it should not be hooked up to. If you start adding more hookup, like a shower, aren't you by default going to need a new septic?
Septic, yeah.
There is not enough money. I did a rough guess talking with John Mamone, the building inspector, of what it would cost to put a 20 by 40 addition on with no water. This includes cement, walls, roof, labor. That's around 58 or 59,000. You include bathrooms, you'll be over the 65. So if I'm hearing people correctly, perhaps they're saying, do nothing this year and look to next year. The inherent problem with that, whether you ask the chief, or ask Roger, or ask myself, we've been doing nothing for a long while.
I don't
I
necessarily
think
think we're not doing
you're
nothing, John, I think
wrong.
we need to get ourselves in the position so we can get it completed, so that's what I'm saying. Not
But are we
nothing.
willing to wait another year?
Gonna have to.
I mean, first of all, you need to get everybody together to figure out what our wants, what the needs. and what
I
the-
agree, I agree.
He's gonna have a heart attack.
Because a lot of these questions that are being asked have to be answered by the fire department first.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your space, and there's no
And
sense
we
in doing
know.
it if it's not gonna be what is needed for the fire department. I agree.
Are you gonna need a place to park the ambulance?
Well, that's what the other one would be. That's what
We
the
have
other one
somebody
would be.
asking to speak with their
Hey,
hand up.
Mary?
Thank you, Mayor.
This is
Next.
great, doing all of this chit-chatting and deciding what the fire department needs and where it needs to be put and if we need a shower and where we're gonna put the bathroom. We have no idea how much it's going to cost. Doesn't it make sense to find out some sort of dollars and cents amount to put a bathroom and one shower in perhaps the addition to the existing fire building with the bay?
Yeah, certainly do that.
It could be under 65,000. All of us in this room don't know
Right.
that.
Septic.
If it's more, then it's more, and we figure out what we need to do from
The
there.
septic's what's gonna kill you, that's why it's
Yeah,
gonna keep the
septic
water.
is
out.
20.
Right.
Biggest.
But we don't know how much that's going to be, is my point.
Well, it probably costs almost probably half of what the building's gonna cost.
First
So
thing we
we're
do is
talking,
check
we're
when
talking
we
probably
can
$90,000 to
take
$100,000 now.
So I think there's a lot of questions, good questions being asked, but the answers aren't gonna be
Tonight.
tonight.
Right. So we're beating kind of around the,
Well, it's good to talk.
it is, but we're not getting anywhere, really.
No,
Do you really, you know, for the cost of another $60,000 to get water for the 1 to 2 times you use
Have fun at
a
work.
year?
Sorry you have to go.
Because we're trying to get the cost down in this.
There is no doubt,
all right.
absolutely. I'm not gonna ask for a dollar more than what I can imagine.
So what he was asking you was, is
Folks,
just have
Maybe
the
we
building.
need to talk
Could
about
you
it.
two have a
Exactly.
conversation afterwards? Because
Nope.
we've been here for a
Absolutely.
while. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to go over?
I have one new business and I'll let everybody go.
No, it's different than all what we've done.
Everything's
All right.
different, totally different. I wish Rick Washburn was here, but he's not. I have a tractor trailer business. I've been here for 30 some odd years.
Right.
Other people here have tractor trailer business. We post the roads per time. Rick has this idea that he can post whatever tonnage he wants. On a paved road, it's an 8-ton road. On a dirt road, it's a 6-ton road. Over by the shores, over there by Middleton Building Supply, he got it down a 6-ton road. It says paved road. I didn't even bother calling him and give him a hard time about it. The state guidelines go by weight and measure. Now, when I'm empty, my tires are wider, I'm longer. My truck and trailer is actually lighter than your half-ton pickup truck with the smaller tires going down that 8-ton road. Yes, I can disconnect and do whatever and go home. The police chief looked into it too. Troop 8, the New Hampshire DOT. So my question is, we only leave once in a while in the morning. We don't come back till 5. The most Rick Washburn can give us is a ticket that doesn't go against our driving record, doesn't go against our whatever. The only one to take us to court would be the town. So for that $100 fine, you guys would have to drag us to court, and I would stand in front of a judge and show him by the weight and measure law that my truck and trailer empty because of the length and the width of the tires, that I am lighter than a half-ton pickup. So why are they stopping me from driving on the road just to go home when they're letting all these half-ton pickup trucks go home? And that's my question for you guys.
Mind if I pipe in real quick?
Please do, chief.
I did do some research after I spoke to you.
Yeah.
First of all, just on the fines, it's actually $250 and then $500 and then $1,000 and it can continue to go indefinitely. But so I did some research. I drove trucks. I've had conversations with the selectmen. And at the end of the day, though, they're the bosses, and what they want kind of that goes. I expressed my concerns to them about certain things, like I said, the weight limits, but I found under RSA 239-191 maximum weights that, and I'll read it verbatim, the governing body of a municipality may establish weight limits, seasonal or otherwise, which are more restrictive than the limit set forth by RSA 266-17 through 26, which is what you're referring to.
Right, the federal.
So they can actually say we want it to be 6 tons or 4 tons or whatever they can justify.
But do they understand the difference?
I do, but what you're saying is just the weight distributed amongst the tires ends up making it less, but.
I'm not wanting to rip up the road.
I agree, but I'm just saying, so.
I gotta pay for the roads.
This is a very well-established thing throughout the state of New Hampshire and actually all of New England about the frost heaves, and they've done studies, and the town's not doing anything that other towns aren't doing. I've talked to Chief Kraus and I've talked to Drury about what they do for posted roads, and everything that they're doing is well within the guidelines of what everybody else is doing. So it's kind of one of those, you know, we try to work with the truck drivers, we try to work with the selectmen, but in the end, what they decide is how they want the town to be run is what the town has to do, you know, so.
Well, we're going.
I've looked into it, and they'll tell you, I've had conversations with them before about driving trucks and what a pain in the butt it is for drivers that live in town, they can't get to their residence. But at the end of the day, it comes down to is what's good for the whole of the town and not having to repave roads. So I feel your pain, you should try to work with them, they seem to be pretty willing to work with people, but it's just,
Well, my question is, why do they feel that because my truck is big, that I'm hurting the roads more than when I'm a half-ton pickup weighs just as much as I do? So I'm not really hurting the roads, and I leave first thing in the morning when it's cold out. So my question is, why he had police officers waiting for us on the dirt road, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
You know, and he caught 3 of us.
Right.
So you spent all that money having that police officer down there trying to catch us.
Yes.
Or you're 3.
Yeah.
That was done at the suggestion of the selectmen, so.
That was Rick Washburn.
And the selectmen.
Yeah. But why? I'm not hurting the roads.
Well,
Do you understand where I'm coming from with the weights? If I came home loaded, yeah, that throws everything all out. If I come home loaded, I'll rip the hell out of the road because I'm heavy. I'm over 100,000 pounds. You know, but I do. I leave early in the morning. I empty. So 15 years ago, I've been doing this with you guys, other selectmen, and all this same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying the place on 153.
Right.
Okay? So now we're talking about a cell tower making how the town looks. So now you're going to have 5 trailer trucks sitting in my yard because they can't bring them home.
Right.
So I'm their friend, their neighbor. I'm going to let them park their trucks at my house. So you come past the lake, and there's a whole bunch of trucks in my yard.
Right.
It is legal.
And, you know, because it's state highway, I'm allowed to do that. And I don't wanna do that. I like my friends to take their vehicles home, and they're not hurting anything. I don't need the weight limit. Where I am now, the weight limit doesn't bother me at all. I'm just talking about everybody else in town. And there ain't a lot of truck drivers in town. There may be 4 or 5 that take their trucks home. And make the poor police department chase you around. That the town has to actually take them to court. It's not done by the state. So you give us a ticket, now we gotta do all this stuff to go over a ticket for something that only went across the road for a mile.
However, but
First of all, the tickets you're registered gross vehicle weight. It's not how many, the displacement of your tires, how soft they are, whatever, how many you got in your truck. You're going by the registered weight of the vehicle.
Mine's
That's how it's going through.
so mine's 103,000.
Okay, so
Okay,
is that over the 8 ton?
but that's gross weight.
It's like 10 tons. So.
Okay.
So
That's how
the truck
that's
is
how it's
the
designed,
truck is
is gross
15
vehicle weight. Okay,
15
that's
a
it.
ton.
Okay, so, having said that, you said there's only probably 4 or 5 people in town with trucks, okay? Since I've been here, 13 years, every year, 200,000, 250,000, 150,000 for road updates and repairs and fixing and whatever, okay? And I figured that's probably close to $4 million since I've been here. I've been paying taxes on it, okay, along with everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't think jeopardizing roads that we're spending that kind of money on.
But I'm
For
not.
4 or 5 people, I'm not saying you, but you said 4 or 5 people, not me.
Yeah, but
Okay?
nobody comes home.
So
loaded.
for those 4 or 5 people, I don't see where we should jeopardize the roads that everybody's paying for those 4 or 5 people for a month and a half, or a month, whatever it may be. It's not worth it.
go ahead.
I think if you looked at it, it wouldn't be the 3 or 4 people that come home empty. It'd be all your delivery trucks with oil, fuel, and trash pickup.
And I
It's
have
probably
to-
destroying the
And
roads.
I agree with you,
Yep.
but
They're
most,
exempt.
and I've worked for the companies, and I know about the posted weights, and my guys are drivers, and they get the fine if they ever get stopped, because they know what the weight limits are. If you have to go in there, you go in there as light as possible. Okay, you don't go in the full load, because you don't wanna do damage.
So you're gonna tell me Waste Management runs their loop
I'm
through
not,
here,
I'm not gonna tell anything about waste management.
and when time they leave, they're at their weight limit. They're gonna go home, quarter trip down to Rochester, and then come back up
I'm
here
not
and
gonna
do
say
it
anything
again.
about waste management.
Well, we all know that ain't true.
Well, my point is, you know, we're gonna get like a quick freeze, right? Now the roads are posted, quick freeze. So now they have to go out with salt. They're not gonna not load their trucks from the town. They're gonna load it right to their max. You ever see their 6-wheelers? They're on the ground. They're rounded up. They're way over the capacity of the truck. But we have to do our 9 miles and get it all done at once. God forbid we have to come back 12. But what I'm saying is, as town selectmen, all I'm asking you to do is just look at the weights and measures. He said, yeah, you guys can make a decision if the weight is too much or the weight is not too much. I don't know if you have the knowledge, you've been notified or have the knowledge of doing the weight and measure to figure out the formula, but figure it out and just look at it and say, okay, his truck's lighter. He wants to go home. Let him go home. I'm not hurting the road.
You're beating a dead horse,
Yeah,
Libby.
we've
Yeah.
gone through this.
I mean, I hear what you're saying and I support what you're saying, but you're beating a dead horse. Nothing's ever gonna happen until Rick gets out as the highway, because he doesn't want the trucks on the road. And I agree with you, they're not damaging the roads any more than what the town trucks are when they're going out sanding and salting. But you're beating a dead horse.
Or the trash truck or the oil
You're beating a dead
truck.
horse, so you might as well leave
Can't
that
get rid of
alone.
Rick Ross because he's imposing.
No.
All right. Thank you for your comments, but you're right, we've been down this road a few
Just one more
times.
thing, if you don't mind.
Yes.
This is a quick one though. I was just approached, I think the planning board knows about it, but I was approached by a gentleman, Kevin Gagnon. I guess he wants to do like a flea market down on 153 in Pinkham. He's got the property. He came to me to see if he needed a permit. I told him my opinion was probably not, but I wanted to run it by you guys before I gave him a definitive answer. He's not gonna have any parking in the street. He's not gonna need any crowd control or police functions. So I personally, I told him, I said, you know, you got the Prezios and Milton, they're in the same area, they don't have permits. I didn't see a need for him to have a permit, but again, I told him I had to get back to him after I got a definitive. I don't see any reason for it to be, he's gonna have a small flea market on the property with
Is this
plenty of parking.
once a week?
He's talking about, like, when he gets it established and everything running every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
So
definitely.
he's gone to the
He's
planning.
come to us when he doesn't hear.
So he's looking to have like an in-home business?
I believe it's like a little flea market, he said no permanent structures, like some
Yeah.
tents set
Right now,
up,
it's just a flea
Friday,
market.
Saturdays, and
Come
Sundays.
before you?
Yes, he has.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have said,
He doesn't need anything.
so he's okay to have it, by what you're
Well, we were
saying?
thinking about that special event permit that
Right.
you guys signed into, for the crowd, and that's,
Right.
I don't see that. I think that's gonna transition more into a business, because he has other things in mind for that same properties. This is gonna be a quick and easy one to get started with, all right? So basically, that, to me, that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's a business, an in-town business. you know,
All right.
That's what I thought,
business.
just wanted to run it by you.
I wouldn't think he needs a permit for that,
Okay.
so, I wouldn't think so, in my opinion.
Any other
No, but he has
comments?
to go, but he has to go through the planning board,
Right.
he has
All
to,
the other
his
stuff,
butters
yes.
have to.
Now, if that business expands to something else, they have to come back to
He
you.
starts putting he's talking about putting buildings in,
We
and
got
stuff like, oh, yeah.
He wants to do a storage unit, he was saying.
Self-storage
something like
unit
that.
and maybe another building.
Yeah, the storage units, he's gotta come and see us.
But no on-street parking.
No,
He was
we made
Consistent,
that,
there won't be any problems with
Okay.
parking.
we made that when he came to see us, no parking on the streets.
Well, I told him that
Where's
we're not allowed to
Pinkham?
park on
Where's Pinkham
153 anyway, so we'll kick him out of there anyway, so.
That's not
You
sure.
alright with what we heard?
I don't go to the
No, absolutely.
streets. Stay on their own street.
Okay,
Stay on State Street.
alright, what else for
Inside
the
where you get to-
good of Middleton? Any other problems we need to
Let's go home
solve
and have
tonight?
supper.
Have supper? Wait a minute, you're offering supper for all of us? To come
If
to
I
the
ever
house?
get home, I'll cook.
Alright, here we go, please.
Motion to adjourn at 8:22.
Oh my God.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.